All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to delay anything. Let's get started. I'm Danielle Lee. Hashtag it didn't crush me. Unfortunately, Caroline will not be with us tonight. You guys get just me. She had a family event come up that absolutely needed her full attention. And she's exactly where she needs to be focus-wise this evening. So I would love if there are any questions on any topics that you have. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I will do my best to kind of scroll over and take a look at that as we are going. Again, my name is Danielle Lee. I have been with LEMD since the very end of June. So I like to say this is my what? July, August, September, October, November, full first or fifth full month of being here. I am senior manager and pushing for director this month, in case you wanted to know what I have done here. I've spent 20 years in the pharmaceutical industry. I am retired from that world, but it has given me a unique background and ability to break it down very simply for people in terms of what peptides are, what they do in the body, what they don't do in the body, how to understand the safety data, how to understand what they're most appropriate for, and have those conversations also with medical professionals. I'm very used to having conversations with medical professionals. I also like to tell people that I have a unique understanding of the pharmaceutical manufacturing and distribution channel, as well as now that's allowed me to really get a good grasp and understanding of the compounding industry. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I like to let people know here in my community that I am a GLP-1 expert and a peptide educator. So I really position myself as that. So we are here tonight, and I'm so excited to talk about a couple of my absolute favorite things. It's midlife and strength recovery and libido. We're going to talk about the growth hormone releasing peptides, growth hormone secretagogues. And let me just tell you a little bit how I got into the world of peptides. My story is one that my body has completely been transformed. GLP-1s specifically have given me my body back. They've given me my exuberance back. They've given me back my confidence. I didn't realize the degree to which I was walking around kind of with like rolled shoulders, kind of slumped forward, feeling like I was just being held hostage in a body that didn't feel like it was my own anymore. And when I started taking GLP-1 in February, I did it secretly, just swiping some of my husband's. Didn't tell the doctor. The doctors only wanted to prescribe at that point phentermine, which I don't know if any of you have ever had a doctor prescribe that, but it literally made me feel like my heart was going to beat out of my chest. I thought this can't be good for my cardiovascular system. Certainly made me not want to eat. But when I went on a GLP-1, my body reacted very well to it. I dropped 15 pounds pretty quickly, but I had no idea what I was doing. I did not have a community to give me any guidance. The doctor that did prescribe it for my husband had not really given him any guidance either. And so he was just kind of winging it. I was obviously winging it because I couldn't get a prescription covered and hadn't learned about LEMD yet. And I got a little nervous having lost so much weight so quickly. So I stopped my GLP-1 in after about 3 months, maybe a little less than 3 months, maybe 10 weeks. But I had started eating a little bit better because I noticed the food noise was completely gone. I picked up the weighted vest. That was my first thing that I did. And I started a little bit of a fitness routine. Nothing crazy, nothing consistent, but I started moving my body. And then I decided once I found LEMD and I had received so much more information and so much more support, and I learned so much from many of the doctors that we interview on the LEMD educational series and have at our fingertips, that I went back on GLP-1 at a much lower dose this time, and I started really incorporating strength training, good eating habits. After a little while, I started measuring out my food and the dramatic changes in my body, in my physique. I'm talking about when like the diverging lines that you want to see where the fat goes down and the muscle goes up. That's been my experience, and it has been an absolute godsend. But the fact that we have access in LEMD to such a wide variety and plethora of really, in my opinion, life-changing peptides at a high premium quality has been the reason that I did not just sit there as what we called like a skinny fat person, right? Like somebody who just got thin, but metabolically wasn't all that much more healthy because I didn't have any muscle. I was losing muscle, right? I was able to build that back up. And one of the first peptides that I reached for when I was learning about muscle and the musculature and how to really fully support it and why in midlife our musculature is so important to us. The first one that I grabbed was Sermorelin. Let's talk a little bit about what Sermorelin is. Sermorelin is a peptide that induces your pituitary gland to release more growth hormone. Now, growth hormone is something that peaks in adolescence, and by the time we hit our early 20s, we've pretty much dropped production of natural growth hormone by more than 50%. And as we are in midlife and our hormones start bouncing all over the place, we begin to experience things like, oh, confusion, brain fog, overall fatigue, sleep disturbances. Obviously, if you're taking a GLP-1, a formulation of a GLP-1, and you're not doing anything to actively bulk up in your muscle, you could potentially lose muscle mass due to poor nutrition. I do want to make the distinction that GLP-1s do not cause muscle wasting. Muscle wasting can be a side effect of GLP-1s if you're not properly nourishing your body and you're not moving your body and lifting the weight. So make sure that you understand that distinction. So for me, taking the Sermorelin, I started hearing the women kind of talking about, why they would grab it, right? I'm like, why would you want Sermorelin? Why is growth hormone really important? Well, it helps by that influx of growth hormone in your body. It does help to regulate the production of other hormones in your body. So then it does help with the symptoms of that confusion and brain fog, and it can help with, oops, there we go. It can help with your sleep, right? And typically, one of the first things that women report when they take Sermorelin is that sleep score. If you're wearing use a wearable or something to measure your sleep, that sleep score hits the 90s almost in the first week. I would tell you just about every single person in my experience who is on Sermorelin, that's the first thing they call me back and say, oh my gosh, Danielle, my sleep is off the chain. I started it 2 days ago and my sleep was so deep. Like that is pretty much across the board something that I hear. Secondly, it is the peptide that women say, hey, we've been in the gym for a while and, I've been pretty consistent, but once I started taking Sermorelin, I started to notice my abs would pop. I started to notice my triceps or my biceps. I could see the muscle definition happen, right? Because what we're doing is we're inducing our pituitary gland to produce more growth hormone. Sermorelin's also targeting visceral fat. It's helping to build lean muscle mass. That's where we kind of get that cutting up, that look, that differentiating look to make those gym workouts look better. And again, it works on sleep. Here's the little known thing that I was completely blown away with. And when I tell people, when I do my reels and my stories and I talk about Sermorelin, I call this the peptide that your husband's always going to pay for. Because at about week 7, maybe week 8, and this is a 3-month cycle peptide, right? You take it 5 days on, 2 days off for a period of about 12 weeks. About week maybe 7 or 8, my libido came out of nowhere. I didn't realize the degree to which I had been missing that fiery spark. And it's really important to make note here because I'm in a blended family. My husband and I were in our second marriage. We actually like each other. We don't have the stress of a long, 20, 30 years together. We don't have kids together. Our kids are blended, right? We have that layer of we really like each other, but I did notice like I kind of felt like I was letting him down, like I wasn't holding up my end of the bargain in the bedroom. And when that Sermorelin kicked in, and like I said, about a week 7 or week 8, I was the one going, oh, what time is it? Jackson's going to be home from school in about 15 minutes. And I'm yelling downstairs because we both work from home. And I'm like, babe, I got 15 minutes before Jax gets home. You want to go meet me in the bedroom? And he's like, what? Yes. These are the little like fun, flirty things that kind of came back because my body not only was responding, but my body was wanting to initiate more often. And I'm telling you, that had been missing once I really started thinking about it for probably about the past 3 to 4 years, I would say. And I am 46. I just turned 46 in September, just to kind of give you guys an idea. Another reason people love Sermorelin, and Sermorlin's been out for a long time. It's been FDA approved. It's pretty widely used, very safe peptide, minimal contraindications. One of the reasons Sermorelin is so good, or any of the growth hormone peptides, is because it induces a better recovery. It helps you recover faster from workouts, from exertion, from working your body harder. Part of that is due to that deep sleep that you get when you're on it. So when I am talking with somebody and they're like, what should I try next? I started my GLP-1 and I really want to experiment with something else. And they're kind of in that midlife space. Like Sermorelin for me is my number one go-to. It is gentle enough. It's not going to bulk up. I know a lot of women can be concerned about adding too much muscle bulk. It is, again, great for lean muscle mass, great for your sleep, and stay on it long enough, and you're probably going to feel that kick in libido as well. But men love it too. I've interviewed men on my Facebook before who've been around the block and they've been in the workout world and they're like, oh yeah, Sermorelin, like we've got better stamina, we've got better recovery with that. We notice a difference. Well, then all of a sudden, after having some experience with Sermorelin, if you were around in August, we brought to the Ellie offerings the combination peptide of tesamorelin, ipamorelin. Now, Sermorelin is definitely like the OG. It's been around for a long time, very safe. I like to say it's kind of like slow and steady, like the consistent. So when tesamorelin came out, tesamorelin works very similar to Sermorelin, but it is the granddaddy, like the strong version of the growth hormone peptides. So as well, Sermorelin's kind of like a little baby, like a good slow and steady. Tesamorelin's the granddaddy. And the men have really loved this. And there's a lot of women who've been on this and they really love this as well. Because the tesamorelin piece, it again gets your body to produce more growth hormone. It's going to help bulk up muscle quicker. It's also going to be shredding and targeting that visceral fat as well, but in a much stronger way, much more prominent way. And when I'm talking with men and they're in midlife and we're talking about things, and quite often I'll be doing a consult with a wife and like the husband is right there and like kind of in the background on the camera. And I'm like, if you guys are in midlife, there's probably things like stamina is probably important to your recovery. When you say that word stamina, the men's ears kind of perk up, right? They start to realize like, oh wait, maybe this could be something for me. That word tends to trigger sexual stamina, like that type of an association for them. And while tesamorelin can also help with that, it is one of the things it can help with. It does help with physical stamina. So men who have noticed, they're not as active, but they're trying to be more active, but yet they don't recover as quick. They get a little bit more tired. They used to be athletes. They don't have the stamina that they used to. This is a really, really great product combo. Now the ipamorelin side, because tesamorelin is FDA approved and so is Sermorelin, ipamorelin is not technically FDA approved, but it has been around for a long time. It's one of the molecules that's found in an HIV medication. And ipamorelin helps to add bulk, in size, because when they were using it in HIV, obviously people with HIV, they can tend to waste away. So they needed something to help put some meat on their bones. And so that's where the ipamorelin piece comes from. And it also tends to pulse IGF-1 within the body. So that really enhances in your brain to release that IGF-1 in like a steady pulse. So it knows what to do with the growth hormone that's being produced in your body now. And that also helps to induce deep sleep. Now, all of these peptides are recommended to take at night, but if you work out in the morning, it's totally okay to take them first thing in the morning. Again, I'm a Sermorelin girl. I will never go without it, ever. I love it that much. I cycled off of it to start the tesamorelin, and then I went back to Sermorelin. It is hands down my favorite. And when I say tesamorelin, I'm talking about the Tesa-Ipa combo because that's how we offer it is in the combo. But they're both 5 days on, 2 days off. I take mine in the morning before I do my workout. but you can take it in the evening. That's totally fine. There's the chance for some sleep disturbance in some people with the Tessa-IPA combo, and that did happen to me when I was taking it. So I switched to the morning and I didn't have the sleep disturbance that I did prior. The other thing too is that ipamorelin works on ghrelin, on that hunger hormone, right? To kind of get you a little bit more hungry because again, like its job in the HIV world was to help add a little bit more bulk to patients that were wasting away. And so you might notice that hunger start to come back a little bit. For the women who've been on this that I've known through LEMD, it's not unmanageable, it's just noticeable. And so I want to share that with you because if it's something that you've been wanting to try, it's still a good peptide to try. And don't be afraid that just because you've been on a GLP-1 and you've had those cravings really under control, the food noise is gone, and then suddenly you start taking the Tessa-IPA combo because you're looking to build some bulk muscle and you want to see what this combo does in your body. It's okay to have that food there. You're not going to suddenly just overeat and gain a ton of weight back. It's there to support the build of the muscle of your musculature. The second thing that can happen with Tessa-IPA is there is a bloating period. Don't freak out about that. It's transient. It goes away. It typically shows up between like week 4 and week 6 and lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, which again, for women can be really challenging to experience, especially because many of us started with the GLP-1 and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to the point of the time where I felt like bloated all the time. But if you're drinking the water and you're working out and you're working through this, it does go away. So I typically will recommend Sermorelin for women, especially in midlife, especially dealing with some of those like perimenopause, menopausal symptoms. But if my women have been athletes, if they've been trainers, if they've been lifting heavy, I am all about recommending that for the women because their body's already used to that muscle bulk, and this will help build that muscle faster. And it will also still support the lean muscle. It's just going to get them the size and the strength that they've been looking for, maybe if they've plateaued a little bit. But I like to warn people about that pesky little bloating piece because it does go away. Are there any questions? Because I feel like I'm just talking at you guys. It's supposed to be the two of us, both Caroline and I. But if you missed when I first hopped on here, Caroline had, I wouldn't say family emergency, but she had something go on and she absolutely is where she needs to be, which was not on a Zoom tonight. Not saying that y'all weren't that important. She's just where she needs to be and it's okay. So I just told her I would take it. Let's see. So that was my little thing about the Tessa-IPA for the women versus the men. Again, I prefer it typically for my men. Men do tend to, oh, here's another thing with men. Um, if we're kind of talking about men in midlife, and I'm asking, like, are you guys on testosterone yet? If they haven't taken testosterone yet, I absolutely love to get Tessa-IPA in their body first because when you get that influx of growth hormone naturally, that's going to cause a shift in your hormones. The growth hormone being produced in your body is going to, I don't want to use the word regulate, right? Because when we think about regulating hormones, we tend to think of optimization, and I don't want to muddy the waters there or confuse that. But it does tend to change your hormone levels and typically for the better. So that's why I'm like, hey, if you guys haven't started testosterone yet, take Tessa-IPA first, then do your blood panels and then see what level of testosterone you'll need because you'll probably take a little bit less. And if they've already been on TRT, it's totally fine. They can still add Tessamorelin, Ipamorelin, and they still get a pretty significant benefit from it as well. Um, Women all day long, right? GLP-1, HRT, and Sermorelin. We had a question. Let's see. Yes. Hold on, I minimized the wrong screen. Okay. Is there a population that should not take these two? Good question. Well, I want to remind everybody that I am not a doctor. I'm not here to prescribe, nor am I here to provide medical advice, but I am very good at reading the information and telling you what peptides do in your body. And I think everybody here knows that LEMD has medical providers and medical professionals who will deem what is necessary in your body for you and screen everybody for medical appropriateness. See my disclaimer? I think I'm getting pretty good at it. The people who we do not recommend or it is not recommended take growth hormone releasing peptides or growth hormone secretagogues would be somebody who has a history of a hormone type cancer, So if you have estrogen, is it, I get this confused because I don't have a lot of experience with the breast cancer that is estrogen based. So somebody who has a hormone based cancer, anybody who has a history of cancer, our doctors will typically not prescribe for. There are other medical professionals that might prescribe for it based on the type of cancer and based on how long in the past the cancer or the person has been in remission. And the reason for that, right? When we're producing growth hormone, we're adding or getting our body to add more hormone. The risk is that that hormone could cause the cancer to come back, could cause your body systems to start um, the blood vessels to start turning over again, which is kind of what we call angiogenesis, although we don't call this an angiogenesis peptide. Um, but that hormone in your body could potentially trigger something. And so we really want to err on the side of caution, and these doctors don't typically do it. Some oncologists, some functional medicine docs will try to override that and say, you know what, we deem it okay. But that's really a conversation for the client or the patient's personal medical team. Our doctor network is licensed, obviously, in every single state, but they are here to just manage your relationship with this peptide, and nor do they have the bandwidth to manage your entire health profile. So typically, a history of cancer is going to preclude them. Here's Lisa, who says she loves Sermorelin. She just restarted after a cycle off. She was told a month between cycles, but she couldn't wait that long. Neither could I. I didn't like how my body reacted. Yes, okay, your hot flashes came back and your hip issues flared. So I haven't had hot flashes yet, but my sleep was not deep. Like I was not sleeping. I was not sleeping when I was not on Sermorelin. And I said, if somebody doesn't get this back in my body, my family is not going to survive anymore. So when I follow Dr. Jason Pensick, he says, you know what? 5 days, 7 days off, and you can go right back on. The most I would say that you really would need to go is about 2 weeks. In my experience, 2 weeks is good to be off Sermorelin if you or your family could survive that long without it. I did try the Tessa. I did try the Tessa Ipa combo, but I didn't have the sleep, the deep sleep. So I stopped taking that and I saved that for my husband. I really loved what the Sermorelin combo did for me. And I'm just telling you the whole thing with the libido, like it made all the difference in my world. Like I just feel like so much more of a better wife and better partner and happier like when I'm the one going down and like crawling on my husband instead of trying to convince myself like, okay, is this can I tolerate this right now? Because my body just doesn't want to cooperate. And it's like trying to do something that you want to do in a body that's saying like, hi, we'd rather be anywhere but here is really frustrating. And so that has totally shifted. And he's a big fan. He's a big fan of Summerlin. Do we have any other questions? And again, I don't want to make this just about like our sexual health here, right? Because when it comes to this category of growth hormone peptides, like it's really great for your workouts. It's really good for your metabolic health. That recovery piece, that lean muscle build, that lean muscle and visceral fat kind of shred. I mean, that feels really, really good. I would say like this category gives you such an experience, right? Like not everybody is going to have an experience with B12 or glutathione. Because glutathione is great. It's your master antioxidant. You might not notice what it's doing in your body. I do personally, but I would tell you that Sermorelin or Tessa Ipa are absolutely experiential peptides. Tessa Ipa also, PS, that is a 8 week cycle versus the 12-week cycle that Sermorelin is. All right. Well, thank you for being here, ladies. And if you are catching the replay, please make sure that you reach back out to whoever invited you to this. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. But I want to make sure that if you have any interest in LEMD, you get back to the person who brought you into the group and invited you here tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful evening.